everyone. Welcome to my show. Be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube and Twitch for all my exclusive content. Okay, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a little while since we've done some Star Wars streaming. Spent the last month or so moving, still technically moving. I've most of my stuff is in the new house, but yeah, still a lot of stuff in the old house, including I can't even count how many Star Wars cards are still there. Between my personal collection plus all the PC store stuff that I keep on hand, that's not in storage. It's in storage in my garage. Some of that stuff has to get moved, and so been a little busy, a little preoccupied, but definitely missed you guys and missed talking about Star Wars. A lot of stuff's been going on lately too. I mean, we had a great nationals that had like 50 something people out in Denver. Very sad that I wasn't able to attend. Congrats again to all the guys who went and played and did so well. Certainly an interesting, weird meta kind of has evolved lately, seeing a lot of, you know, stack ping type decks between BB-8 and 3PO and blaster pings and, old allies kind of rearing its head again and some decks that had been taken down and forgotten about, Bring Them Before Me hadn't been popular for a while. That's kind of come back. So definitely some interesting stuff going on in Star Wars land. So I don't even have my usual setup. I don't even have all my equipment and stuff moved over yet. But, like I said, uh, I, I was inspired by a lot of the other people who've been streaming lately, and it was like, I miss streaming. I need to take a night and just block off some time and do that. And who knows what we might see here in some of these all these different leagues and stuff we got going on. This all of the Jedi sealed league, which I guess is like sealed, but let's jump into one of these games. Who's playing here? Let's jump into this game that here we go. Dan's playing. Oh, we gotta watch Dan play. That was gonna be a series that Dan was doing. Figure out so I guess this is like constructed format. It's like Secret Squirrel. Is that what this is? 'Cause you've got light and dark side cards on the same. No, wait. This is just an effect that deploys on your opponent's table, right? Either player's lost pile. Okay. So not quite Secret Squirrel. That'd be interesting to try and do that on GEMP, though. All right, but it looks like it's sealed deck format from a just like all the sets just kind of mashed together, which is interesting. We got some episode 1 cards. We got Reflections and Dagobah and all kinds of interesting stuff going on here. So, yeah, I don't have my usual setup here, so I'm just trying to make sure. I'm kind of watching the stream on my phone. If you can or can't hear me, obviously, it looks like everything should be set up right, but just making sure who's out there. I can't see the participants in chat. I can only right now because I'm on my phone looking at that stuff. So Mick's got some ishy tibs here. Ari's got a bargaining table, canceling some force drains. Looks like Dan's got the Prince, and the Prince is kind of a monster in sealed format, making the ability 6 to draw. It's pretty brutal in this format for sure. A lot of sealed formats, because usually you've got a lot of ability 1, ability 2 guys, and you can sometimes piece, 2 of them together to get a battle destiny, but having to have multiple characters is always a bit difficult. We got a Ronto. See, just look at all this just mess of cards, but there's some interesting game text I'm sure here. Stuff you don't normally see, like when was the last time you saw this guy played? Cancels game text of opponents, accountants, and tax collectors at same or adjacent sites. Well, how many people does that target? I think that's what Mosep and Galid is kind of what those guys are, accountant and tax collectors, but who knows what other guys might have interesting game text. While in a battle at a site, your battle destiny draws may not be canceled, and you may not draw more than 2. Ah, I was going to say, can't cancel your draws, though. That could be interesting. You never know when that text is going to come into play. Now we got a Ronto with Caldera. Caldera is a card that does still see play from time to time because of this text right here. Opponent must have total ability less than 8 to initiate a battle at same site. So they've got to have 7 or less, which is like one character, possibly two, depending on the deck. But if you're playing anything with like Dark Jedi, it's them. Maybe you can get away with like Vader and Greedo or something, or an ability one guy. Um, but yeah, like Veers in a Blizzard 2 or something like that can work. But obviously, trying to keep him indoors and whatnot. But yeah, it's like, oh, I'll put down Maul and Doctor E, and it's like, now you got 8 abilities, now you can't battle me. But Caldera's always been an interesting card, and it's always nice to see people come up with different ways to work around them. Like I've seen people do, like, oh, they put Vader in, like somebody else like with him, and then Caldera's like, oh no, you're not going to be able to battle me, and then they just like Ellis the other guy away or something, so then Vader can then battle and beat up everybody. So deploy -1 and power +1 at that site. Yeah, the downtown plaza here, the Port Town district rather, is a pretty brutal site. Force drain +1, aliens deploying cheaper. So this is a pretty stout drain at 2 that I think he's pretty much going to have the rest of this game here. All right. The other thing Caldera's got here is this other little text. Whenever a battle is initiated at same site, both players can draw up to 2 cards from the top of their reserve deck. And Dan's going to try and choke that person out, and successfully does. Caldera's power 2, forfeit 3. This guy's power 3, forfeit 3. Would have been 1 less power if you got this guy out, and he would have been a little easier to get rid of. The Ronto still has power, because it doesn't need a rider or whatever to contribute. Now Dan does get a Battle Destiny, and he draws another 5. So good turn for Dan, going to clear that whole site with a Choke Vader. Mr. Lukes, thank you for renewing your subscription. Month number 6. That's a milestone. That's a milestone marker, isn't it? 6, yeah. There's a foil involved for that. Scanning Crew. I love sealed. Look at all these crazy cards we never really get to see anymore. Because they're shielded or they're just, low destiny, mid-range interrupts that just don't quite make a 60 card cut anymore. Someday I'm going to get that sponsorship. But this kind of also throws in, looking at all these goofy formats, you've got this all of everything printed, sealed. I guess there's no virtual cards, right? So it's just everything Decipher made in one big sealed mashup. And then you've got 2 other events going on here that are kind of the inverse of each other. One's like a history of the game, and one's like a flashback kind of thing where one is starting with just Premiere only and adding a set to build up to Open, and one is starting with Open current format and like taking sets away to work backwards to just being Premiere constructed eventually. Scanning Crew getting rid of Leia Rebel Princess. Yeah, that would certainly be big. Wherever she wanted to go, she could go hang out at one of these sites and then cancel this drain over here for a little while, or she could just go in front. It's risky putting her down just in front of them to block it, because obviously you see, it's sealed. You have to think that there's aliens and droids and things, and Imperials kind of all mashed up together here. Republic characters, whatever. There'll certainly be lots of non-aliens. So, yeah, Leia probably would have ended up somewhere over here and then canceling this drain for at least a turn or 2. Uh, Buying Mick some time and retrieving a card or 2 in the process. But this card's kind of just a mess. Your eyes can deceive you. You flip your lost pile face down. Cards from that player's life force may not be viewed when they are lost. So when you top deck cards to force drains and stuff, they just go right to your lost pile upside down, and you have no idea what you just lost. Uh, that's it's such a weird card, and it's a complete and total head head mess if you're playing against somebody with that. But whew, yeah, the card we have not seen in quite some time. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say like watch your step might prevent it. I know it stops keep your eyes open. I feel like there's something else that cancels this from being played too, but I do appreciate you guys joining in with me tonight. We'll hang out. We'll watch a little Star Wars. We'll talk about some upcoming events going on. Now we got a perimeter scan being played. I've got a new V set 16 spoiler 2. Oh, just got that sent my way a few minutes ago. Shout out to Bill for sending that over via Jared. We got Vader with another sense, and Dan just blind drawing fives like a champ. That's the Coruscant sense, which is automatically lost. This is a great picture for a card, by the way. It's a great shot of Maul there. It had been a card that had been toyed of being an underlying card for a while for various Maul personas, but it's a Coruscant uncommon interrupt, and those are always hard to get multiple copies of sometimes. But there's not a lot of cards that have Maul images on them. But having this bargaining table to stack non-unique aliens is certainly pretty brutal as well. With you've got Ishi Tibbs and Hnemeths, and there's a Baragwin. Baragwin's almost a fun card to find, just so you can look in your lost pile to see what's there. All right, we got a U3PO going down to block a drain, and a Chief Retwin gonna deploy to block another drain. Yeah, this is such a weird, upcoming cards for future throwback or events. Chief Retwin. Use 2 force to place this. That's not the important part. It's this part right here. May use 3 force to hide from a battle. Now, this is a weapons phase action. So if Lightside initiates a battle against him and they have a weapon, he's not a just. So you would get a chance to shoot him. Dan plays Imperial Supply, and as a force, he loses the Death Star 2 coolant shaft. He's got a Death Star 2? Like, why would you play that site? There's got to be other cards you could put in your deck, right? It's not like they just gave you, like, here's 40 cards, and you have to play with all of them. There's got to be something else you could use other than this, unless he's got a Death Star 2, but you would need Endor to deploy it orbiting, and then, yeah, that's pretty unusual, or interesting to see that, we'll say. But as I was saying, yes, Retwin. So they battle you. They get first weapons phase action, and they can take a shot at him. He's ability 2. Maybe they hit him. Maybe they don't. But then if they miss, obviously he just pays the force and excludes himself from the battle. And then, stops and blocks the force drain for a while. So basically, you're paying 3 to avoid a drain of 1. And, if they hit him, obviously, then he can exclude himself so he doesn't take any battle damage or overflow, and then he just leaves the table. Dark Side has better drain potential, obviously, right now. Light Side's doing 0 damage between U3PO and Retwin. But something, who knows what he might have. Maybe he's got to draw their fire. He can initiate a battle here and retrieve 1 and make his opponent lose force. Probably not going to be any cards that, like, cancel game text or prevent a guy from prevent characters from being excluded from battles or anything like that. That would get around Retwin's text. But even something like a Cloud City blaster pistol or something, or Jabba's blaster rifle, or a Moss Isley Blaster, I think is what it is. The Java's Palace ones. Any random gun would do. He's got a Baragwin, right? We saw he's got a Baragwin. So if he's exchanging cards or retrieving cards, maybe he's got a way to get a gun back. It's nice to see all these alternate formats coming back. We had pretty good success with the Premiere through Death Star 2 format. Throwback event. A lot of people played, a lot of people had fun. There's a new event coming up at the World Championships. I'm sure you guys have heard about. I'm sure Dan's been talking about it on Holo Theater for the last couple weeks as he's been doing his regular Wednesday shows, basically interviewing everybody who was at nationals. Everyone who made the top 8 at nationals, I should say, which is good. Nice to get different perspectives and different viewpoints on what was successful, what worked. One of the things about this game that I've said for many years is there are very different playing styles, and certain decks fit different styles better. You know, Kevin Shannon can win a world championship with X deck, and Justin Desai and Bastion Winklehouse can win a world championship with Y and Z type decks, and you need to find the top-notch player whose play style most closely mirrors your own, and then try and find their decks to play. It's a good way to become a better player. Some decks are more aggressive, your hunt downs and your throne rooms. Some decks are more, I won't say passive, but they're more strategic in the way that they shuffle and move around. Things like Old Allies and Black Sun and that kind of stuff. Uh, and some decks are kind of just turtley decks where they kind of just tank up their own little locations, one or two sites, and just like, all right, I can't, as long as I don't take any more damage, I can outrace my opponent and mitigate all their losses, like an ISB or a no idea or something like that. And not every deck fits every playstyle. It's one of the things you'll learn after many years. All right, Lord Maul is going to show up. All right, we got Vader, we got Maul, we got Chief Retwin. Not sure what Maul's doing there. You figured at some point I don't know, why wouldn't you just deploy Maul to the docking bay? Your opponent's got 4 cards in hand, and it's Maul. Like, get an extra drain going. Come on, Dan. What's Maul gonna do there? That you need more backup for a guy when you've already got the Prince. Oh, you think he's got Leia in hand, and you're worried about him putting Leia in front of you to block your drain. Well, he's loading up that site. Fun fact, Moss Icy Blaster does not make characters hit. There you go. It just makes them power -2 or something. Is that what that one does? Some of those guns. Thank you for that game text correction there, Joker King. I appreciate that. See? It's all kinds of weird cards. You don't remember what they all do anymore. It's weird to think about, the whatever timeline format they're in, returning players' histories through the game. I think they're up to like Premiere through Dagobah right now, and it's like that's about when I started playing. Was Hoth had been out for a little bit, and Dagobah was sort of on the horizon coming up. Was when I, first started playing, uh, and like went to like some of my first tournaments and things like that. So to go back to like late '96, well we'll call it spring of '97 at that point. Summer of '97. We're talking about a premiere through Dagobah, and it's like, wow. 20 something years ago, still living at home with my parents, finishing up high school, and using my allowance money to get save up for a box of Dagobah when you're like, yes, I can finally buy a box of like the new set that's coming out, all these great cards that are going to help my decks, and then it was Dagobah, which had like two characters in it for light side. All right. So now that Leia's hit the table, Dan's going to drop a rune to this site. He's going to move Maul over. He drained for two at the Dark Forest. He did drain at this site and gave Leia the opportunity to cancel it, which she did. So Leia's been used once. Got to just start burning through that. Vader also did a drain of two over here. So Dan's still ahead in the driver's seat, and he's ahead in life force count. He's got 20 to 13. And right now, this is like a drain of one and possibly a Barrowin retrieving. We don't really know that for sure. Moss Eisley Blaster might reduce forfeit by two. Yeah, I could see how this type of format would be a lot more draw dependent on what you get. You know, when you've got Lord Maul, Prince Shizor, and Choke Vader going up against like Leia, Rebel Princess, and Queen Amidala, and a bunch of aliens. Definitely be a lot more draw dependent for sure. It's kind of one of those things that might be fun for like a couple of games, just for like a nostalgia factor. But like a lot of sealed things, that it really comes down to sometimes how your draws look and what you're going from there. Moment of Triumph's another good card in sealed. Any alien is defending a battle alone at a battle destiny. And you got certainly have a number of aliens. Just remember that adding a destiny and draws one if unable to otherwise does not get you to battle destiny. Because once you've added one, you can now draw one. So this a lot of people, a lot of newer players will mess that up. They'll play something like the Prince and like, oh, I get a battle destiny, and then play Moment of Triumph to add one, and like, why am I only getting one still? Because this only lets you draw if some other thing doesn't let you. And once you play the interrupt, this kind of goes away. I'll be honest, there's nothing I can do. My light side's pretty weak. Yeah, based on what he's looking at here, so he's just going to scoop it up. Congrats, Dan. Congrats on your win. But yeah, that's kind of one of the weird things about that format. But like I was saying, there's some of these other leagues going on right now. Uh, Here's the new and returning player history tour. This one started with Premiere, and they're working their way through. Right now, we're in the Premiere through Dagobah week. I think we've seen Steve and Joe have been doing some streams uh, on these formats, and we'll be getting to Cloud City here in just a few days. Cloud City doesn't shake things up. It shakes things up a little bit. Obviously, you get some new for Dark Side. You get some new variants. Dagobah still kind of sticks with some of the boring decks, except now you can put Cloud Sectors like on Dagobah, and then Luke can just sit there or your Tabana Gas Miner or whoever it was that you used your Great Warrior to deploy as your apprentice can then go to Dagobah and you can get 4 strains on Dagobah. Um, and Yoda and his Jedi lightsaber and some of that, just total cheese insert stuff. When you play Wars Not Make One Great and Anger Fear Aggressions, and so they have to pay the 4 strain to do damage to you, which forces them to actually spend force so that insert eventually could pop. Uh, yeah, some of that stuff going on. You got some numbers cheese. This little timeline right in here became the who could come up with the more degenerative NPE strategy out there, and there were plenty of them. So Well, thanks for joining us, Dan. You've got O switch off, take them away, never y'all null, a weapon lev, defensive fire combo, and a ceasefire. Oh, so you were pretty safe with the ceasefire and whatnot, and a weapon lev. Well, weapon lev wouldn't have helped you because he doesn't have enough ability to steal it, but ceasefire certainly would have bought you a little time if he deployed a weapon against Chief Retwin. So, yeah, you kind of build up through these numbers and inserts sets here into Jabba's Palace and Special Edition and some of the other stuff that we have come to know and love. And then right here, this week, right here, you get Constructed Premiere through Reflections 2, which is a nice little warm up for what's going on at the World Championships this year. We've got our throwback event being played Friday morning. There's the schedule. Here's the prizes. First place will receive choice of a sealed display box of Enhanced Java's Palace. So you get all 12 packs that came in Enhanced EJP. Or a Reflections 3 Premium Dark Side Uncut Sheet. Both of which are pretty high value. Second place gets whatever the guy who wins comes in first doesn't take. And they also both get an Endor rare Dark Side Uncut Sheet, which is a pretty cool thing. Not the funnest thing to travel with, but I'm sure we can ship it to you if you don't live locally to the event. Third and fourth place get a sealed OTST Java's Palace sealed deck and a rare Dark Side Uncut Sheet. So we got a lot of these Endor rare sheets going around. Okay. And then we give out some light side uncommon sheets and an extra EJP pack. So some cool prizes. Dan, thanks for renewing your subscription too. 25 months now. I think 24 was a milestone. So hopefully you let Jared know and cash in and get some cool foil sent your way. But yeah, this is Friday morning. This is kind of kicking off the World Championships for everybody who's in town early, or give you a reason to book your travel plans and get into town Thursday night, so you can be available to play Friday morning for this format. We're also giving away, which I will show on screen. I don't know if you guys have seen these yet. So we're gonna have some signed cards here from Scott and Hayes. I'll have to find their decks from this period and get these cards shipped out to these guys, or if they're both going to be there, hopefully we can just have them sign them at Worlds. Block out 20 or 30 minutes, have them sign some cards. But we've got the Ice Plains and the Ray's Encampment alternate image foil slips, which I'll go grab mine from the MPC that I just got in the mail and show those off in a second, in case anybody hasn't seen them yet. Top four finishers will receive trophies with final placing and full name. So we're not going to have the trophies at the event. Looks like we're mailing you the trophies afterwards, which is also pretty cool because then you get your name on it and it says, third place, Joe Schmo. Which is always better than, 2020 tournament third place winner. Having it personalized certainly adds a uniqueness to it. And it's nice to, put in your trophy case or on your display wall or wherever you choose to keep them. So, chance to pick up some cool stuff. Hold that thought. Oh, all players who also play will get a foil Cad Bane. But I'm going to go grab these slips real quick. So. All right, let's make the camera a little bit bigger here. So if you haven't seen the AI of Ray's Encampment yet, kind of hard. It's kind of an interior shot of her site there. See if that'll focus a little better. No, that's about it. It's kind of a dark picture, not the easiest to get a good image of. And then if you look at the ice planes here, there's an alternate image of that, which is pretty cool. It's a nice little shot of the fifth marker, the Hoth ice planes, which is pretty darn cool. And well, as long as I've got the camera enlarged, I do have one other foil that I did want to discuss that some people may have noticed was on the back on the list, and it's marked as PC Store AI. And this came out before the foils were actually out, that they were on the list. So some people have reached out and been like, "How do I get this? What do I have to do for it?" We have a very limited number of these right now, so we're not just blanket, giving them away left and right. Um, but this is the Darth Vader Emperor's Enforcer AI that is marked on your checklist uh, as the PC Store AI. If you can see that pretty well. Nice cool picture, basically of Vader's helmet up close and personal. And I will be doing some random contesty type things to sort of give a few of these away over the next couple of weeks through the PC store. They're kind of going to be like raffle drawings. Like if you meet X criteria, your name goes in the hat. So one week it might be like spend $75 in the PC store or something like that, and your name gets in the hat. Um, it's on me to update some inventory first to make sure you guys have some stuff available that you want to buy, because otherwise it's going to be like $75 worth of Premier and Dagobah cards, and that could take a while. Uh, but tonight's contest number one, is going to tie in with our World Championships, and I'll post this on the forums. But you guys are going to get first crack here for watching and tuning in tonight. So you got to see the foil, and if you would like your chance to earn said foil, all you have to do to get your name into the raffle is register for the World Championships. If you are registered for the World Championships between now and Wednesday night, when Dan's show starts, when Hollow Theater starts this week, or is scheduled to start this week at 9 o'clock, so if Dan cancels, that's still when the deadline is. So basically, in the next 48 hours, all you have to do is pay your registration fee and sign up for the World Championships. And if you're already signed up, you're already included. And if you sign up now, uh, yeah, or if you've already committed to volunteering to do something for the event, I will include you in that. So if you're volunteering to be on site to do commentary, to do be the tournament director, or the rules, advocate. Now you know what? No, they get plenty of other stuff. There'll be other stuff for them later. We'll get those guys, I'm sure, their own foils and stuff like that for helping out. We're going to stick with sign up for Worlds. You pay your registration fee, you sign up to play for the tournament, your name goes in the hat. Uh, sorry, Dan. Sorry, Showenthal. Sorry, Gurgle. I'm sure you guys will end up getting a nice little volunteer package that'll probably include one or something like that, or a bunch of foils and stuff for you. So I won't include you guys in this raffle for now. We'll make sure. Obviously, we're going to put something together for you guys for coming out and for all the stuff that you're going to do for us on site that day. So we're going to limit it to just people purchasing to participate and play in the tournament. You pay your anything, whether it's the $10, because there's three options here. Let's go back to the World Championships here, because we put up the registration info. It's all right here. Register for the throwback event. If you just want to play that Friday morning event, it's $10. If you want to play in just the main event on Saturday, $35. Or if you plan on being there the whole weekend and you want to play in a bunch of events, you can get the weekend pass for $45. That includes the throwback event on Friday morning, the team event on Friday night, the main event Saturday morning, and the consolation event, if you're not in the top 8, on Sunday morning. If you are in the top 8, you get to play in the top 8 for free on Sunday morning. So 4 tournaments for $45. You're getting an extra tournament in there because usually it's only 35 or so. Usually it's only 3 events. Usually your weekend pass is just, team event, main event, consolation event. So you're getting a fourth tournament if you want to play for your weekend pass. And this year, the prizes for the World Championship events have also been bumped up a little bit. I think last year it was like 1,200, 600, 300, 150. So these all got a little bit of a bump. And then usually it's like 100 and like $50 like for first and second here. So now we bumped these up a little bit and added prizes for third and fourth. So a little more incentive to compete throughout. Maybe plan your travel home Sunday a little later in the day or stay over another night and leave Monday morning. So you can make sure to get some extra prizes here and keep yourself in contention. Those extra foils of the Ray's encampment and the ice planes and stuff like that will be available for all of these events as well. So a whole lot of cool stuff. Jerry, I'm sorry, Jeremy, you got to move out of your current place. Move early. Move the week before Worlds. Move August 1st, October 1st. Get all your stuff out into the new place and get settled, and then say like, "Bye, honey, I'm going to DC." Um, but yeah, World Championships coming up here. The hotel booking link is probably also in this. Yep, Hyatt right there. There's right near Reagan Airport if you're flying in. There are other airports in DC, so just be careful where you book your flight to in that area. And then book your room, sign up and pre-register. But yeah, do it in the next 48 hours, and you will be put into the raffle for the Vader's Enforcer drawing foil. It's the first one I'm giving away, and we'll give away a few more over the next couple of weeks leading up to various events, and I'll try and post them, and we'll try and get them out on all of our different platforms and the PC Twitter account and Facebook page and stuff that James and Jared have done a great job of boosting our membership too, and we'll do some things there to get people more engaged and let them know what's going on with the store and stuff like that. So the other thing also about the World Championships, if you haven't seen it yet, is the current COVID guidelines. Obviously this thing has been a thorn in our side just as a society for 18 months now, and well, it seems like it's going to continue to be that way for a lot longer. So, and this may change again between now and then, as things evolve. Currently, the guidelines are you need proof that you've been injected, or you need a negative test, and then you just have to wear a mask. And if you want to, you can still wear a mask even if you're in the top half. There's no restrictions about that, and this may change at some point in time to make everybody require masks. As more and more policies and procedures and stuff change. Every state's been a little different, and we don't know what Virginia's going to do, what their laws might change to, what Hyatt might change their policy with the hotels. So obviously, we're all working. Uh, you know, Without a safety net here, and without really knowing how things are going to unfold. We're just going to do the best we can. We're kind of winging it a little bit, and we're still excited to be able to, hold this event live, uh, which we were not able to do last year, and looking forward to seeing everybody again and go from there. OCS. 45 minutes into a show. We haven't even talked about the OCS yet. Yeah, we're halfway through our OCS month, August. OCS qualifier. Tom. I haven't seen the Jump Warrior around in a while. Tom jumping up to the top of the leaderboard with the 10 and 2. I was gonna say we had a bunch of 9 and 3s in here because a lot of people were basically going 500 with their light side decks. Light side not in too ideal of a spot right now. I mean, there's like one or two light decks, and if you happen to play them really well, you can pick up a few wins, or you get some decent matchups. But a lot of people picking up some light side losses. So certainly a little bit more, open. Usually it's like we have months where we're seeing, 10 and 2s not make it, or even sometimes we've seen 11 and 1s not make it based on win percentage. And now here we're halfway through the month. We've got 1 10 and 2 at the top of the leaderboard. Um, and who knows what could happen with some of these 9 and 3s. And you start looking down the leaderboard here, and you're seeing 3 losses, 3 losses, 3 losses, until you get all the way down to basically these guys here who are, they've only played 4 games. We're halfway through the month. They're 3-1, 3-0. Kev Boz, look out, right there. Kevin Shannon signed up playing in the OCS. Maybe he's playing his dark side games first, and he's 3-0 while he figures out a light side deck. I don't know, but welcome back, Kevin. I hear you look like Grizzly Adams these days. Target is 5-1 with dark side and 1-5 with light side. Yeah, Tacobill right here, 4-4. So I guess you're on pace for that right now, right? I'm assuming you've got 3 or 4 dark side wins and 0-4 light side, or trying to go 50-50 the last game with each one. 4-1 and 0-3. Okay, but yeah, it's kind of rough out there. I don't even know where I'm somewhere in this mess of. There we go, 1-4. Yep. Yeah, I've most of my. I think I've played 4 light side games in the OCS so far. So uh, maybe 1-3 light side and dark side lost a game. Not sure. Uh, that sounds right. I think I lost my first 2 games because I was just rusty and not playing well. And then it was like, oh yeah, light side's bad. So we'll see, though. Obviously, there's some new cards coming out between now and then with the set 16 that should hopefully flip some stuff around and open up the field, and we'll see who adapts the best. Meanwhile, we're waiting for these games. Oh, I did promise you guys a VSET 16 spoiler, didn't I? I'll get to that in a minute. So there's a bunch of different themes in VSET 16. Have we done any spoilers yet? Are there any spoilers already online? I don't want to give away too much information here, but there's a number of themes. There's always themes in uh, VSET 15 is available for download. Maybe it's in general. I think it's in the general discussion. There we go. What do we got here in the set 16 spoilers? Okay. All right. So we got a Naboo. Yeah, like I said, there's different themes going on here. So I will say that the light side card I'm going to spoil kind of goes with the theme that kind of has been uh, teased, and kind of we got some of the setup cards for in the last couple of sets. And it's an episode 1 format, or an episode 1 based theme. Not necessarily restricted to just episode 1, but that's kind of the timeline where it fits in, is that episode 1 movie trilogy. So, but Eric streamed the other night, and he got the Dark Side Naboo system. Okay, so this is the one usually that you start an invasion. Sometimes you do see some other decks that will use it. It is a 2-2 system. If you control with a Trade Federation starship, your force generation is +1 here. So if you're starting invasion, you start with the battleship already on table. So now it becomes a 3. Uh, Essentially, it's a 3-0 because their icons are canceled. So now you're basically starting with a 3-0. Okay. Um, its generation is here, so it would still be vulnerable to watch your step, limiting it to 1 if you're not flipped. And then if opponent controls and in complete control on table, so if they flipped invasion and they control the system, your characters and vehicles deploy +1 to Naboo sites. Okay. Deploy +1 to sites. Okay, so they flip their objective. Lightside gets their icons back, and they're able to deploy to the system. If they don't deploy to the system and they want to just go to the ground, everything costs +1. Deploy characters and vehicles there to the ground sites to try and attack. We see that in similar in some other decks with like QMC and stuff, where or the dark deal. This deal is getting worse all the time with Bespin in the way it's written. That if the player whose card it is controls it, it makes their opponent's stuff deploy +1, and if the opposing side takes control of it, then all their stuff deploys -1. Um, Usually you're pretty set up to defend your own system, so it's very rare that people get that -1 deploy, but it can happen. So this is given Invasion a little bit of an activation bump and a slight encouragement to them if they flip. They're still vulnerable at the system, which is certainly an issue. And then you could also see this being used in other space decks, because there are other, obviously Grievous's ship, the Invisible Hand, is a Trade Federation starship, so you could certainly see that in, like, we'll just take a deck. We saw the TTO deck a while back that was playing, uh, you know, Trade Federation tactics and the Invisible Hand, and kind of setting that up and using that to help occupy your system. And if Naboo is your system you choose from, you can still reach right from Endor. Uh, it's a 3 parsec jump from 8 to 5. So you can move that right on over and get an extra force activation out of it. So it becomes a 3-2 system for you for just that one extra force. Could make a little bit of a difference if you're running like that type of package or just some other type of space package. I can't imagine you would probably do something like this in like a stunning move or anything like that. As playing as like your one-off system, usually probably play something else that you could pull with one of your starting effects or something that you wouldn't play Naboo. But primarily Invasion, but could certainly have a little bit of a trickle-down effect and work its way into other decks here and there, but primarily an Invasion helper. Okay. Uh-oh. Bill said he was trying to go 1 in 5 with Lightside, which he's currently 0 in 3. And he's playing Lightside again. We'll see if he can pick up his 1 win. He's playing Rescue the Princess, virtual, against Bring Him Before Me. Well, this should be an interesting game. I hope he doesn't mind, but we're going to watch it. Maybe we won't. It's already 8 o'clock. I don't know, I want to watch a whole game. We'll watch a little bit of it. I'll talk about the spoiler card here for a second too while they're getting set up. So standard Bring Him Before Me, standard Rescue the Princess start, Wackling Saitor, Cell 2187. This is the card that kind of you need to go do everything. Makes Luke a spy and a stormtrooper, so then you can pull them with the slight weapons malfunction card. These guys are immune to Never Yell Null, and put all sections on alert, which is pretty big. So you're not completely screwed over by that card because you're playing on the Death Star. Lets you go get sights, and it's immune to the card that cancels Cell 2187. Darkseid went slip sliding away for security precautions on the Endor Forest clearing. Wipe and I Am Your Father. So get Vader down, get him his weapon, activate an extra one for Wipe. Kind of similar to what we used to see Hunt Down doing for a while. Now we're seeing it with other mains platforms. Bill has said he likes Rescue the Princess, first Bring Him Before Me. It could be interesting. Oh, we're getting to that clone. We're getting to that spoiler. We're getting to that episode 1 spoiler. It is not a clone, by the way. This is a nice addition to Bring Him Before Me decks, using this Emperor instead of the other Emperor, because the other Emperor didn't really have much game text and do anything. You deployed him into, like, I can go get a Force Lightning, which is just an interesting way to search your deck and whatnot. But he didn't really do a whole lot for you, and this Emperor certainly gives you some other options. Uh, Draw a bottom card of your force pile. Pretty important. Once per game, if about to be lost, you take them back into hand. So it also disincentivizes them. If they come here and kill your Emperor and like, aha, now your Emperor's power's gone, and that's only your one Emperor. It's like, well, you can put him right back because he doesn't have the restrictions of deploying or moving to where they are like the other one does. He just never deploys or moves to a location with the light side icon. So if they kill him, you can just and you can take him back into hand and you can put him right back down in the throne room with whoever else you want and beat the crap out of whoever else they have left. And with Emperor's power boosting the deploy cost of guys there, it's pretty tough for them to get more than two or three guys to that location. Rescue the Princess has this other fun card now, a Power Loss, which once per game your opponent can stack up to 2 cards from hand face down here. If there's no cards stacked here and you control this site, or you occupy this site and another site, so basically you deploy here, free Leia, move one guy over, and if there's no cards stacked here, then you complete this and it'd be done. So people have to, we'll see that they put 1 card down, they put 2 cards down, depending on how well they think they're going to interact with you. If they think they can hold this site, because the only other way to get rid of the cards once they're there is if you won a battle at any Death Star site or initiated a force drain here. You get rid of the stacked cards, so you can start chewing your way through that to then complete that. You have to complete that in order to flip the objective. Bill kind of plays it safe with turn 1. He just activates, pulls this site, draws a bunch up to 13, and then saves a couple and says go. That's true, Joker King. Because there is a scomp link here. So if they deployed R2D2, who adds a light side icon, and you killed the Emperor and didn't forfeit R2 when he survived, he would add a light side icon at this site that would prevent the Emperor from being redeployed. They could deploy other people and try and kill uh, R2 to get rid of the icon, so then you could redeploy the Emperor there. But that's a lot of work just to get him back to that location. But that is true. Yeah, if they miss him turn 1, if they miss the pull, if they activate him, and then light side is like turn 1, I'll deploy R2 to the throne room, ha ha, and then you know deploy a bunch of people and kind of just steal their throne room from them, or if you're playing light side throne, Yavin 4 throne room, and I guess if you played Seeking, started Seeking, and then pulled, you'd have just enough force, would you? No, you'd only get 2. And you would need 2, maybe. You can Seeking download him for the 2 force you get. Or does he? Yeah. That'd be tough to pull off. It'd be interesting, though. And it'd be a hell of a counter play. But we got Vader hitting the table here. So Vader's right there. He's got his lightsaber. He's threatening a pretty big drain. Ooh. Uh, if a power loss shut down, yeah, see, there's the counter to it. So while Obi-Wan alone here, he's immune to attrition. So EPP Obi, immune to attrition, great. Also, while Obi-Wan alone here, Vader may not force drain on Death Star. So Vader can't drain anywhere. And now that Vader's committed himself here, Bill is opting to use Bring Him Before Me to deploy Luke from his reserve deck, and he's opting to put Luke over here to this particular site, the forest clearing, with his blaster pistol. Yeah, if you're playing Bring 'em Before Me and like turn one, your opponent's just like, all right, I'll seeking for R2 and put him right there to your throne rooms. Now you can't deploy your Emperor. Uh, you know, just be like, okay, I guess I'll activate my three force, or five or six or whatever I get, and yeah, that's it. You don't deploy anything else. You just put you just put R2 there and just leave him there, and you're like, I'll go over here now, and you're like, I gotta deploy a guy and I got a sniper R2. Wow. I gotta play Luxor droids and hope I draw into it so I can blow up R2 or a restraining bolt so I can cancel his game text. Uh, that would be harsh. That's a pretty wicked. Yeah. All right. So Darkseid can't drain. Darkseid's not causing force loss from your destiny because Luke is on the table. Does it just have to be where does Luke out of play or present at a battleground site? Captured out of play or at a battleground site. He's immune to restraining bolt. Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah, so your looks are yeah, force push for Luxor droids to kill R2 so I can deploy my Emperor. Oof. Yeah. Where you're dropping like P-59 and trying to sniper him to cause some force loss or something. And then they play, you know, droid shutdown to protect him from being lost. Just, okay, we've got a Blizzard 4 and no Goldenrod shield out. So we're going to get a free download unless we got a perimeter scan or something. Nope. Okay, we got a Lord Maul with lightsaber going after Obi-Wan as well. And a Phantom Menace. So we're going to be seeing some battles this turn. We'll be battling in both places. Emperor's Power to add an extra destiny in each. Could be some rough stuff. Now, Rescue the Princess is that only on the flip side? Yeah, may place Obi-Wan out of play to cancel a battle initiated anywhere on Death Star. It's only on the flip side of the objective, so we can't use that as like a get out of jail free card here. So Luke's got his blaster. He's going to add a destiny to power. He draws another Luke. Well, at least you know where to find him when this one dies. I just lose him. Darkseid's going to lose a force. They lose an accelerate off the top to add a battle destiny and draw a TIE Sentry ships and another Phantom Menace. So he's got a 12 for battle destiny for a total of 21. Luke forfeits for 7, so right now he's down 10. And there's a Chewie, so now uh, he's basically looking at like Luke in 9 and stacking a card. That's a rough start for Bill for sure. And nope. He's peeling a pile of cards. All right, this might be a quick game after all. Then we can wrap up the stream and we'll finish it up with the aforementioned spoiler that I mentioned, which is a light side card, by the way. No Hoojix. He loses Jedi Levitation from reserve deck. He should have lost this Luke out of his use pile, because he's bringing him a formula that should deploy him from the lost pile. Alright, so there's the blast the door, kid. To exclude both characters. Probably should have had like a do or do not shield or something on as well, just to protect against sense. I don't know what Bring 'em Before Me decks. Some versions are using it, some versions aren't. But you have to think that any deck that pulls an ability 7 character out on turn 1, you'd kind of be silly not to run like 1 or 2 copies of like Sense and Alter, right? Just to get rid of some stuff. Alright. We got a sorry about the mess. Taco going for broke here. Obi gonna swing at defense value 8 Maul. He just drew a couple of ones. And he draws exactly 8. That not going as planned either. We'll use the Bring Him Before Me to deploy Luke from the lost pile. There you go. He can put Luke down there. He put the blaster pistol back so he can Cytor to pull it back out of the deck. So then Luke can wave it at Maul and cancel his immunity to attrition. And we've got a solo as well. Okay. So it looks like Bill's trying to be a little clever here with some old school solo and some interrupts and stuff. And we've got Rey. Okay. So she's going to add a Battle Destiny. He's going to hope to do possibly some battle damage, beatdown potential maybe. And see if Bren has a Gick to back his Maul up. Get Luke's gun out of the deck. Alright, so we got 2 Battle Destiny here because we've got, yep, that'll cancel his immunity to attrition. And he shoots, but it will not hit. Waste of a good 5. Maul's going to swing for Obi-Wan. And missed. The Intimidator and the Persecutor. Another of those new card combos. Obi taking a swing. Here's another 5 to start it off with. What's he got underneath it? He did just shuffle around stuff. There's Han's gun. So nobody's hitting anybody here. Emperor's Power to add a Destiny draw. Top deck's Maul Sith Infiltrator. Rey's going to draw the bottom card. He's got 13 cards in the lost pile, so anything he wants to play with solo. Luke's going to add a Destiny to Power. We did see him lose a Jedi Lev earlier, so if he drew the Luke again, he could do that. Garbage Chute. Okay. Add 6 to Power, so he's up considerably right now. If you're looking for a fantasy football league to join, talk to Dan. And there's R2. So there's a couple of 5s. Pretty good damage potential there for Bill. See what Matt can draw here. So Maul forfeits for 7, so he's at 14. So he's down by 18, and he draws 10. So it would be Maul and 8. And that's going to get rid of 1 card for power loss because Lightside won a battle anywhere on the Death Star. Lightside's going to lose Luke. Top deck's an extra copy of Rey. Phantom Menace will go used. We'll see if he's got the Gick or he's going to peel 8 cards here. He does have the Gick. Which Bill's going to grab. Okay. worry about your opponent having like a no escape or something like that, or if you're thinking your best line to victory is through battle damage, having that or someplace your opponent can't get it is certainly ideal. Yep. Now your destiny kicks in, and Lightside has to peel 3 cards. Don't get cocky. Slight weapons malfunction. Ahsoka Tano. And now Vader's going to get to drain there because Obi's not alone. Right? While Obi alone here. Yep. Maybe Matt doesn't remember. Maybe Matt just skips right by his control phase, thinking, "Oh yeah, Obi's there. I can't drain." Hopefully he remembers how to read the card right and does. Yep, he's gonna drain for 3. And Bill's gonna peel a couple more cards here. So Bill's definitely been behind most of this game after that big turn 1 beat, or turn 2, turn 3 beat down. I think it was 3 uh, on Luke over there. And hey, look, there's that no escape that we were worried about seeing to get that Gick back in hand. It'll get Maul back instead, and Maul could come right back down and go after Obi-Wan, or he could just yep, be aggressive, right? That's what this deck wants to do. It wants to be aggressive. It wants to battle. And there's the extra Blizzard 4 going over there again. This time he will download somebody. And he's going to get Erica out. Erica V, another strong card, especially in a Bring Him Before Me deck, because you're taking Luke away. So if present at a battleground and Luke is not, retrieve a force. Well, if he's a captive, captives are kind of inactive. So just let you start retrieving cards, which will let you get back said Gick and things like that. So Maul going to swing at Obi-Wan again. Sims Destiny +2 from his text. So that's a 3, and there's a 7. Would have hit regardless. We got like a sniper or something to take Obi out of here. Oh, there's the sniper Dark Strike. He'll have to peel a card to use it. He throws away the Maul ship. There's the sniper. Nope, no counter card from Bill. We're seeing a few more people start playing stuff like Clash. It's not below parry. Strike blocked is the one that cancels that. Yep, he's just going to scoop it there. Okay. Well, congrats to Matt on his win in the OCS. And Bill continues his streak of losing with Lightside as he had planned to. So now we'll wrap up tonight's show with the aforementioned spoiler. We're just going to drag this over here, make it nice and big for you, and we'll talk about it. Chewbacca, Defender of Kashyyyk, which goes over Chewbacca of Kashyyyk from the Endor set. Wookiee Scout, Han's Rebel Strike Team, lore stays the same. It's about light side character, Alien and Republic. So I guess it's a C slip, but they're just reprinting his lore, I'm guessing. Alien Republic character. That's interesting. Not a rebel. So he is a Republic icon character for stuff that may work off that. 6 power, 2 ability. No longer gets any type of forfeit bonus from Insurrection, but yep. Pilot 2. Your total power here is +1 for each opponent's character present. So for every other guy they've got, increases your total power. So those, trooper decks or scum decks that like to pile up 4 or 5 guys. Chewie's giving you 6 power on his own, plus then boosting your total power by a few more. During battle, if your total power here is greater than opponent's total power here, you can add a destiny to total power. So this guy is going to generate a lot of power. Yeah, not rebel, so no Jedi presence, but still just on his own. 6 power. They've got 3 or 4 guys there, so now he's giving you, you know, we'll say four more. So now it's 10 power on your own. And if that's more than what your opponent has, then you add a destiny to your power on top of it. So, uh, yeah, episode 1 icon, pilot warrior he's keeping his Endor icon, at least on this current list I have. That may change. That may not change. Probably won't, but you never know. Definitely an interesting card, and we'll see what other cards we might have, because we started to get some of the stuff for the Wookiees theme, with the site and the being able to pull locations and things, and the let the Wookiee win setup card, which so far we've just seen as light side mains platforms for the most part, whether it's the home one start or the Chirpus Hut start or those kinds of things. But here's what we got: deploy 4, forfeit 7, so nice little slightly better deploy forfeit. Still have the same, yeah, lots of power. Alien Republic icon. Republic will certainly trigger a few different uh, keywords and abilities. Be interesting to see him working with the Queen Amidala in like a WAP deck too. You'd have that potential with a Republic icon, because she makes guys like immune to attrition and defense value plus and stuff. So like in the throne room WAP deck where they have to pile onto the throne room, like they pile 5 or 6 guys there to take on your 5 or 6 guys. Now you're adding, you just drop Chewie, and suddenly you just added like 10 or 12 power plus a Destiny to power. Um, that could be something. So lots of, I don't know, lots of potential here. Obviously, there's a lot more cards in the upcoming set that are being tested. I don't know how many and will end up being released eventually, but what the final number will be. But very much big thanks to the playtesting and design development advocates, people, teams, for obviously continuing the work to develop new cards and test new cards, and for giving me the opportunity to spoil one on the show tonight. I always love spoiling some new stuff and going over some cards and just starting to think, first time seeing it, what little things, what does it immediately inspire, and then you kind of let that just marinate in there for a couple of days, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, this guy could go in this deck too, or or this card works with that card, and then they could do the thing with the thing, and yeah, that would be interesting. Sometimes it doesn't ever pan out to anything because it takes too long to set up, and by that point in time, you've already been drained for 4 or 8 or whatever, gotten pinged for 27 force loss from Cloud City occupation. So, yeah, but excited to be back. Excited to do a show for you guys here tonight. Bill, sorry. Thank you for letting us stream your game for a little bit. Sorry it didn't go so well for you. And yeah, we'll see you guys back here real soon. Be sure and check out Hollow Theater this week. I don't know who Dan's got on for a guest for this episode, but I'm sure it'll be interesting and entertaining as always. And get your OCS games in, sign up for some of these alternate leagues, and 48 hours, basically from now, 48 hours, sign up for the World Championships, get your name in the raffle for the Vader AI Emperor's Enforcer foil. And we'll do that drawing next week, next show. Hopefully, I'll do it next week. But yeah, we'll definitely do it next show. So you guys take care. Have a great night.